Hey everybody, Raul here for Bass Musician Magazine, and today we have the extraordinary honor and pleasure of chatting with bassist and founding member of Circle the Earth, Mike McBay.
How are you doing?
Yay!
Thank you for having me.
Oh, my pleasure, Mike. Among the highlights, I know we want to talk a lot about Circle the Earth, but we always like to go to the past and get a little bit of the history. How did you get started in music and particularly on bass?
My mother's a college professor, okay? But so I was raised in an academic background and was not encouraged to pursue music at all. Both my parents are college professors. My mom played an acoustic guitar and she was right-handed. I picked up the acoustic guitar to imitate her and turned it upside down because I'm left-handed. So to this day, I play bass upside down with the E string on the bottom, the G string on top.
Okay.
And that's how I started. There was a band of kids in the neighborhood who were playing top 40 R&B stuff, and I wanted to imitate them. So I also figured that bass only had 4 strings, and if I was going to be stuck teaching myself, that was probably the easiest thing. Not true, but that's what I was thinking at the time. So that's how I started. My earliest influences musically were the music of Sly and the Family Stone and the political messages and the quality of the writing and the integrity of the message behind it. From there, Jimi Hendrix and the insanity and the ecstasy of Jimi Hendrix.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and then I heard the music of Yes, and the first time I heard Siberian Khatru, my soul lit up, and I'm like, what is this? And I followed that music and that spiritual path my whole life. I've seen them 30 times and met them, and that really has been the soundtrack to my life.
Nice, nice. And did you pursue formal training as far as music goes, or are you self-taught?
I'm completely self-taught, and therefore I'm the weakest member of Circle the Earth by far. They're all very well educated. The drummer is a drum professor at Los Angeles Music Academy. The guitarist is a graduate of Musicians Institute and teaches, and so does the keyboardist, also a graduate of Musicians Institute. And the singer plays sax, plays piano, formerly taught from a child of parents or both. Dad's a gifted jazz saxophonist, so they're all very strong musicians, formally trained.
Nice.
I am the opposite.
Nice. Well, and it also would be good to mention, because again, since you didn't pursue kind of the full-on music path, you are a physician. And how did you, because obviously it sounded like you had the passion for music before you went into medicine. How did you balance both, career, because it's a very demanding curriculum?
That's been the challenge in my life, has been balancing music and medicine. My parents were, like I said, both scientists. My dad was an organic chemistry professor. My mom was a math professor. So I got beat if I get anything less than an A. So I had to succeed in academics. And I played music on the side in the evening in a high school band. And then when I got to college, I met a guy named John Ivy at Stanford who was an incredibly gifted guy. He had a scholarship in music, in acting, in academics, all 3 things.
Wow.
And he was a keyboard virtuoso, and we put a band together, and he taught me everything about how to manage a band. And after college, we moved to Los Angeles and played in a jazz rock band called Talisman for quite a while. And just from working with him, I learned how to organize bands, how to organize rehearsals, how to audition people, just the administrative side of it. And since I'm not that strong a musician, I try to recruit other musicians around me that are stronger, recruit outside writers to keep it young and fresh since I'm so old. And it's worked out very well. God has really blessed me with the Circle the Earth project I'm in now.
Nice. Well, they always say that if you want to get better, you need to surround yourself with musicians that are better than you, because that pushes you ahead. Now, since you've mentioned Circle the Earth, tell us, how did that group come about? How did that happen?
I was playing in a jazz rock band called Talisman with John Ivy for 20 years in Los Angeles, and it was just too progressive, and the scene was changing. So I met a guitarist named Phil Von Hake, who had been invited to join Motley Crue, had turned them down. So I played with Phil Von Hake in a band called Icebreaker that was commercial rock. We recruited Eric Singer, who became the drummer from Kiss eventually when he first got to Los Angeles, and we played together, and that's when I started playing commercial rock music. That band lasted maybe 4 years, and then I stopped playing music. I got into drugs. I did crack for like 15 or 20 years.
Oh, man.
And eventually, when I became sober, I've been sober 14 years now, I started to pick up music again. I met a young singer named Candace Aragon, and she's a songwriter, singer, and I was so moved by her talent that I told her I had done music before, I would back her. So I put a band together around her, recorded the songs, made videos and all that, and she just disappeared on me. So my intention was to help somebody else. I wasn't thinking to get back into music at all. But the band that had put together around her, I was on bass, they said to me, well, don't just give up, just get another singer and keep going. So I got another singer, and that band over the next 14 years eventually evolved into Circle the Earth. So Circle the Earth is a blessing that I received from my sincerity trying to help somebody else. It means a lot to me in that regard.
Nice, nice. Well, and it's very interesting because it's a very diverse, multicultural, multi-generational. I guess you'd be the most senior person there. Interesting dynamic. And from what I could tell, some of the music I was listening to, there's a very earth favorable message in a lot of the tunes. Tell us about your inspiration with that music.
Well, because I've had spiritual experiences all my life. So I'm basically a God-hearted person innately. And then the survival from drug addiction, for me anyway, really gives you a spiritual foundation upon which to base the rest of your life. I also had a spiritual teacher for 30 years. And those experiences are what allowed me to survive drugs. Then once I got off and started playing music again, it's just natural that it comes through. And then I surrounded myself with people who are similarly motivated. I met the drummer 14 years ago, Sandro Feliciano, and he's a very spiritual human being, very God-hearted person. We clicked immediately, stylistically and personality-wise. Next, I met Sandy, who's from Taiwan. She's on keyboards. And the first time I played with her, I picked her up in my arms. I said, please do this journey with me. And then after that, I met Kazuki Tokaji. He's been in Los Angeles for 3 years or so at that time, was really struggling. And when I met him, dude, he's the most talented, sincere, humble, deserving person I think I ever met. So I recruited him. And then I was working with a singer for 8 years, and a woman from Diane Warren's company just walked into rehearsal 6 months ago, and she said, you've put together a fantastic band. If you don't get rid of your lead singer right now, you would not make it, and you have to change. And I'm like, I don't know you. She's put her face in my face and shit. Listen to the message that is coming to you. You must change your lead singer right now. So I looked around the room. Everybody agreed. I let the singer go, and a week later, Aviva came. Viva Scott is the best singer I've ever had, best human being I've ever, of all the vocalists, I've worked with lots of great vocalists. And people who've won The Voice in Australia, people who won The Voice in Mexico, like really top people. One woman who was second to Carrie Underwood on The Voice, things like that in the United States. And Aviva is extremely talented and extremely sincere, God-hearted person, and normal and humble, and not at even the least. And we have finally a singer that's as strong and motivated as the rest of us, and her arrival has changed everything, to be honest with you. It's great.
Wow. Well, and for a lot of people, Los Angeles is such a wealth of talent that it's both a blessing, but it's also a challenge because
there are 8,000 people doing the same thing.
Exactly.
8,000 bands. That's right. That's right.
And so a lot of it is just the sheer luck of the draw that you happen to be in the right place at the right time, and it all clicks, which is amazing.
And the tenacity to be into that it takes. It's been 14 years to get to that lucky spot. That's so true, man.
Absolutely, absolutely. And as we're talking about sound, gear-wise, what are you playing on, and how are you getting your sound?
Okay, when I first started playing bass, I could play with my Stanley Clarke and Chris Squire, my influences, right? So I'm playing fast and doing my fingers, and I could do hammer-ons and all that. But during my drug use, I had an automobile accident, and I cut my hand. See this?
Oh, wow.
So I cut it from here all the way across it, all the way around. And I thought I would never write again. I would never play music again. And a friend of mine designed this large pick so that I could compensate for the injury that I had. So now I'm disabled technically. I play bass with this huge pick. I can only do downstrokes. I can't do up and down. I only do down. So I'm a very limited musician struggling with a disability. But that's what I didn't let that stop me. So I kept trying. And I got to where I'm at. I'm playing through a Rickenbacker bass, and I play it upside down with the E string on the bottom. It's a left-handed bass with the strings strung right-handed, so I can have access to the top frets. I use an octave divider. I have a pedal board with a tuner, pitch transposer because some of the songs go up and down for the vocalist range, and octave divider for some of the low stuff. And that goes into a Ampeg SVT portable head. It's like a transistor. It's not the big tube thing anymore, so it sounds great. I use a Hartkey 410 top cabinet for the highs and an Ampeg Reflex 18 cabinet for the lows, and that's my rig.
Nice. And looking ahead, what plans are there for Circle of the Earth? What's in the works?
Okay, we've released 6 singles so far, and we're recording 2 more. One is called Loose Lips, and one is called Greed. And we're working with a producer whose name is Ethan Kaufman. He did Dorothy and some things like that. And we're going to be releasing those singles along with an EP starting in mid-January to late January. And then we got lots of shows coming up. We're doing some 1,500 to 2,000 seat shows. I'm still at the point of doing opening act, though. Yeah. So I can't draw that on my own. I just negotiate, buy, if I have to, buy on, to expose the band to crowds in front of headliners. We've opened for Oingo Boingo, opened for Macy Gray, opened for Lou Gramm, a Foreigner, things like that in Los Angeles. It's super tough to succeed in this area, and at this point, I have to start to apply for assistance from a label. I've been trying to do everything on my own because you retain some sort of integrity and control, but it's getting to the point where I need to branch out of Southern California, step up to a label and do things like that. And to do that requires generation of much larger social media numbers that we have. So I'm recruiting social media marketers and things like that to help me. But with the arrival of Aviva, man, things have really changed. Like, people are soliciting us, offering to put in money, offering to help. It's a completely different environment now that she's in the band.
Very cool. Very cool. And if people want to know where you're going to be, because it sounds like things are really cooking right now, where's the best place for them to look?
We have the usual websites. You can look up Circle of the Earth on Instagram. We have a website called circleoftheearthla.band or something. I'm sure you know more accurately than I do, actually. And we have lots of a YouTube channel, Circle of the Earth YouTube channel. Fabulous. And you can look up any of us on Facebook too. It's all there. Nice.
Well, and also I don't want to forget, in the songwriting, how is the process with the band? How are those tunes coming about?
Songwriting is very interesting. Okay, so first of all, I have to make sure I have as little to do with the songwriting as possible because of my age and yes, right? That's way out of the question. So typically we rely on Kazuki because he's young and he writes very well. And we hire outside songwriters to work with him. I'm glad you brought this up. There's a gentleman named Adrian Jones I've worked with for the last 8 to 10 years who's a super gifted songwriter, another gift from God, actually. It's like a member of the band, same kind of God-hearted person. He wrote most of the songs leading up to the time that Kazuki came, and he co-wrote some of them with Kazuki. In addition to, that's my main songwriting weapon is Adrian Jones. And he works with Aviva, and he comes in and helps arrange the songs and things like that. Outside of that, we recruit outside songwriters to either provide songs or work with Kazuki and Aviva on the songs. So we've worked with Jim McGorman from the Goo Goo Dolls. He also worked with Shakira and Gwen Stefani. He's a very gifted guy from Berklee School of Music, and he's touring with the Goo Goo Dolls now. And we also work with Lauren Christie, who wrote Complicated for Avril Lavigne, and she wrote the entire Dua Lipa album. She wrote Maniac on Mute and completely for us, and a couple of other songs that she co-wrote with the band. So we work with her. That's it. So I just try to be sure and keep current. The main thing is to make the songs current. So I have to back out, and my job is to move the chess pieces around. Have beautiful, powerful chess pieces, and I just got to move them around in constructive ways, and it's working so far.
And I will mention as well, because when you're opening for other acts, it can be kind of challenging because you're not the people that they necessarily came to see, and it's always a challenge. Every time you get up there, you've got to win over the crowd. And I remember one of my favorite stories. I was talking with a guy that was Prince's bass player.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I think the black guy, right?
Yeah, Brown Mark. And so
yeah, of course.
It was when they went to open for the Stones.
You got booed off the stage, I heard.
And yeah, it was terrible. It was a rough time. So it's a brave thing, but if as you introduce and you get more ears, you can really win people's hearts over. So that's great.
Yeah, that's an interesting story too. So as when we go on stage, there's no white people in the band, right? So just be real.
Yeah.
They look like
Yeah.
that, right? And you watch them gradually grasp that the music is comfortable, it's going to be okay, and then by the third song, you feel them embrace the music and start to give in. And typically, the women respond first, then the men respond because their girlfriends are responding. And by the third or fourth song, the crowd always reacts super positively. We've opened for rap acts, we're working for R&B acts, we work for Spanish acts, heavy metal acts, and it's been a universally reinforcing experience. I have not had any negative reactions at all.
Nice, nice. Well, Mike, we appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule as you found a quiet spot in radiology to chat with us. Folks, you've seen him here on Bass Musician Magazine, Mike McBay.
Thank you so very much for having me, sir. It's an honor and a pleasure. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.